Have you ever had one of those days, where you're chained to your desk, books everywhere, highlighters running dry, and at the end of it all, you feel like you've learned absolutely nothing? If you're putting in the hours but not getting the grades, trust me, you are not alone. The problem isn't how hard you're working, it's the tools you're using. So let's get into it. We're going to build you a brand new toolkit. And this right here, I bet this feels super familiar. It's that really frustrating feeling that everyone else got a secret memo on how to succeed, and you didn't. You see your classmates juggling a million things and still acing exams, while you're just stuck. But here's the thing. The secret isn't about working more hours. It's about having a better strategy. So here's the absolute heart of the issue. When you're constantly stressed and just grinding away, your brain goes into survival mode. And a stressed brain, well, it literally cannot learn. Sure, it can cram facts for a test, but that's just temporary memorization. It can't build those deep connections you need for real, lasting understanding. That 24/7 study trap, it's not just making you tired, it's actually making your studying less effective. All right, so tool number 1. This one is all about getting back your most valuable resource. And no, it's not time, it's your attention. We live in a world of constant pings and notifications, so being able to focus on one single thing, that has become a legitimate superpower. And it's not just about trying harder, it's about building a system that sets you up to win. Just look at this. This probably looks pretty familiar, right? On the left, that's what most of us call studying. You know the drill. Your phone's buzzing, you've got a couple of tabs open, you're trying to do 3 things at once. And the result is, you don't really learn much at all. But on the right, that's focused work. We're talking single tasking, no distractions. The difference in what you'll actually remember, it's night and day. So how do you actually do that? Well, let me introduce you to a simple but brilliant method, the Pomodoro technique. It sounds almost too easy, right? You just work for 25 minutes straight, then take a 5-minute break. But here's the magic. It breaks down huge, scary tasks into manageable little chunks. Plus, those little breaks are crucial. They stop you from burning out and help you stay focused because your brain knows a reward is right around the corner. Okay, so you've got your focus dialed in. You've blocked out the distractions. What now? Well, tool number 2 is all about making sure that time is spent well. It's about switching from being a passive learner, just rereading stuff over and over, to being an active learner who's actually building knowledge. And a perfect way to do that is with the SQ3R method. This turns reading from a boring chore into an actual investigation. Instead of just opening a chapter and starting from word 1, you survey it first. You turn the headings into questions. And then your reading becomes a mission to find the answers. You're not just reading anymore, you're hunting for information. See the difference? Here's another game changer for active learning, the Cornell note-taking system. Look at how this is set up. The page itself forces you to think. You take your main notes on the right. Then, later, you pull out keywords or potential test questions on the left. And at the bottom, you have to write a quick summary of the whole page. By the time you're done, you haven't just taken notes. You've created your own personal study guide. Okay, tool 1 was focus. Tool 2 was active learning. Now, tool number 3. This is the big one. This is how you make the leap from just knowing a fact to truly understanding a concept. And honestly, this is what separates the A students from everyone else. It's about being able to explain and use information, not just spit it back out. And to do that, we're going to use something called the Feynman technique, named after this absolute genius physicist, Richard Feynman. It's like the ultimate test of your own knowledge. You pick a concept and then you try to explain it in the simplest terms you can think of. And wherever you get stuck, wherever you have to use complicated jargon, bam, that's a gap in your knowledge. It's an incredible way to find out what you don't really know. And this is really the core question you have to ask yourself. Could you explain this to a kid, like a smart, curious 12-year-old? If the answer is no, it probably means you're hiding behind complicated words because you don't fully get it yourself. True mastery means you can make things simple. Yeah, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It's easy to make something sound complicated. The real goal isn't to sound smart. It's to understand something so deeply that you can make it seem simple to anyone. That's real knowledge. All right, tool number 4 is all about strategy. We've got all these amazing techniques, but let's be real, you don't have unlimited time. So where do you point all this energy for the biggest payoff? This tool is about finding the 20% of the work that's going to get you 80% of the results. It's called the Pareto principle, but you've probably heard of it as the 80-20 rule. And it applies to everything, especially studying. Think about it. Maybe 80% of the questions on the final exam come from just 20% of the lectures. Your job is to find that critical 20%, what they call the vital few, and just hammer it home with focused, active learning. Check this out. This is a perfect example from a real study. They looked at a ton of student essays and found that most of the errors, the vast majority, came from just 3 specific things. So instead of trying to become a perfect writer overnight, just focusing on fixing those 3 areas made a massive, massive difference in their grades. So the big idea here is this: stop trying to learn everything equally. It's a waste of energy. Find the most important concepts, the most common exam topics, the highest value information. Pour your energy there, and you can get up to 80% of the results with a fraction of the work. That's what studying smarter actually looks like. So let's recap. We have a tool for focus, methods for active learning, a test for deep understanding, and a strategy to apply it all. That's a killer toolkit. But even the best tools in the world are useless if they don't have power. And what we're about to talk about is the non-negotiable power source for your brain. I'm talking about sleep. And I know, it's always the first thing to go when we're busy, but just look at this list. Sleep isn't about resting, it's an active and critical part of learning. It's when your brain consolidates memories, solves problems, and recharges your focus. That all-nighter you're planning, you're basically hitting delete on all the hard work you just did. Seriously, think of it like this. All that studying you do during the day, that's like opening a bunch of documents on your computer. Sleep is when you actually hit the save button. If you don't get enough sleep, it's like shutting down the computer without saving anything. Poof, all that work is just gone. So, there you have it, a full toolkit to completely change the game. You've got Pomodoro for focus, SQ3R for active learning, the Feynman technique for true understanding, and the 80-20 rule for strategy. And all of it is built on that solid foundation of good sleep. The power is in your hands now. The only question left is, which tool are you going to use first?